Is anything safe from corruption in the Philippines? Given how deep systemic corruption seems to run in the Philippines, highlighted again by the recent expose about the diversion of funds meant for public flood mitigation infrastructure, I can't help but wonder, how can anyone really be sure that even airplanes here, whether Cebu Pacific, Philippines Airlines, or others, are truly maintained to international safety standards? If funds and oversight can be diverted so easily in one area, is anything genuinely immune? Could safety regulations themselves be enforced only superficially? It's unsettling to think about because corruption undermines trust in the very fabric of society. In my view, corruption is the single biggest challenge a country like this faces. Until it addresses in a meaningful way, there will always be doubt about whether systems meant to protect the public, whether flood levees or airplanes, are really doing their job. I've always wondered the same thing myself. I've always felt a little uneasy flying anything related to the Philippines. It sounds crazy to say, but it's true. The same thought crosses my mind whenever I take a ferry or any other type of public transportation. I cannot trust that people have done their part and maintained the vehicle or even the roads themselves. Even if the roads and the vehicles are maintained, I cannot trust the drivers, as we all know they are mostly high. Red Hot 5 says the good news is corporate profit and liability are sufficient incentives for due diligence. You won't survive in the airline business if your planes are falling into the sea. Government services, infrastructure, etc., are another story entirely. Yes, that would be good, but the Philippines does not operate like most countries or businesses. Hebe says it's a catch-22. How can you address corruption when the very media outlets and the corrupt people in charge are the only ones with the capacity to address those issues and make necessary changes? Your average Filipino national has zero power. It would take an entire paradigm shift from the top and change in moral direction. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. The people up top have little to no concern for your average Filipino. They care about family wealth and status above all. Average Filipino nationals quite immersed in the corruption as well. For example, a business of vote selling. Who gets paid to sell votes? Ordinary Filipinos. Ordinary Exchange says, when they built the road in front of our house, the foreman was selling cement to locals for half price. My girlfriend's dad still brags about the great deal he got. The road is falling apart now, and the locals are upset about corruption, but they are happy they got discounted cement. Now there's a flood control project in the area. My girlfriend's brother is really happy that he bought rebar at half price from the contractor. My summary for the culture here is unaware, don't care. 1. The locals are unaware or don't care that they are participating in the same corruption that hinders their own progress. 2. Tricycle drivers are often unaware or don't care that they could be hit by doing a U-turn into oncoming traffic. 3. All manner of vehicle drive slowly in the overtaken lane while pacing a slow vehicle in the outside lane and unaware or don't care that they are holding up other traffic. 4. Locals who have been farming for decades will plant 4 months' crops and seem unaware or don't care that it is 3 months before annual flooding starts. Then they're surprised and devastated when their crops are flooded. Most of the best and brightest leave this country as soon as they can, and it shows. Well said, my friend. Virtual Beyond says, keep this in mind. It's not the government that's corrupt, it's the people. The culture is rotten at the core now. 100% of Filipinos will say they are against corruption, and it's the number one problem of their country. Yet, 85% will gladly jump at the chance to take part in it if the opportunity came about. Even the most corrupt people of the countries who amassed a tremendous wealth from corruption and been flaunting it, the ones being questioned right now will say they're against corruption. Filipino culture is filled with nicest people, sweetest, most charming, and most religious sociopaths, always looking to screw someone over. It's not only accepted in the culture, but it's celebrated and encouraged. Precisely, how often have people bragged about this exact above comment? Well, that's because a huge difference on what they think corruption is versus what it actually is, says entity. If they benefit from it, it's not corruption in their eyes. The LGU, where I am, run money laundering through some of the churches, but the people don't care because they get free rice and some other stuff. There is also owner of local construction company. A number of years ago, she wasn't paying her staff and was going to go to prison until the LGU stepped in to save her, and now they own her and made her yet another rich government contractor. These are the things you need to be aware of that happens on a regular basis in the Philippines. Fancy says, I hear ya. Some thoughts for your specific example. 1. Aviation is an international industry, so you won't be able to secure contracts and deals to fly your fleet to places without satisfying international required safety criteria and getting approval from other international bodies. You need to prove you meet these standards and you are accountable. 2. Flood mitigation projects only happen, or don't probably more accurate, locally on a national scale. Siphoning funds is the ecosystem they've created amongst themselves for the long time. There's no one they're held accountable to, so they do as they please. I think we can all agree that the Philippines is a corrupt country, and it's from the top down, starting with the president to the government officials, down to the local barangays, and then even the people themselves. The entire country is built upon screwing one another. They can screw you first. If they don't succeed, then they'll go to each other. And when you mention something or try to provide a solution, they tell you to go back to your country. The best comment from yesterday's video is from Bill. What do you expect? They elected the son of a dictator that killed millions of Filipinos back in the 80s to the presidency. Thanks for watching. God bless.